So IGGY is based here at the University of Warwick. It's the university's social educational network for young students who are 13 to 18 years old and who are based all over the world. This network facilitates access to content which is interactive and media-rich and which is produced by academics, professional organisations and other gifted young students. At IGGY, we encourage young people to be part of a community in which they can collaborate with each other, connect with one another and gain access to content which is fun, interactive, challenging and which allows them to be part of a community. I'm joined here today by Meredith and Gabriel, who are members of IGGY and who are going to give you an insight into their experiences of online learning, social networking and education. And they're educated in very different ways to one another, so they'll give you their experiences of the tools that they use and the resources that they use. They'll talk about the benefits for online learning and they'll also give you some suggestions for the future of education. So the last decade saw a huge increase in importance in technology and schools took full advantage of this by encouraging IT competence, investing in high-tech media and also by dedicating time and money to technology as a valid teaching resource. If used in the right way, this technology could truly personalise learning for young people and it could be argued that gifted students have the most to gain. We then saw the introduction of social networking and society embraced social networking as an opportunity to engage, link and share with others. And the rise in technology meant that people had access to the internet at any time of the day all over the world. As you'll see from the figures above, Facebook is the most popular social networking site with over 1 billion members and that accounts for over half the worldwide population online. So it's very popular indeed. Now, given that the under 35 age group are the people who most use social networks, we thought that it was a perfect idea to create a community in which they could collaborate with one another and in which they can share their ideas with people who are across the same intellectual plane. And young people treat social networking as a very important tool because within their heart is the concept of ownership over their own space. And it means that, especially for gifted young students, that they can recreate themselves in ways that they may not be able to do in school because of the way that they're already perceived by their peers. This is known as virtual presence, and it means that they're able to take ownership of themselves, and it's just one way in which technology can be seen as a facilitating factor rather than an inhibiting one. So providing young people with the opportunity to be part of communities like this, we're giving them the opportunity in places where they may feel isolated in school because of their giftedness to feel part of a community where they're valued. It's especially important to recognise that disadvantaged gifted students get access to these communities because it means that they can fulfil their potential regardless of their circumstance. And it's also important to recognise that gifted students don't just come from middle-class backgrounds, and by creating inclusive communities, we can dispel that myth. So with regard to content on online communities and in educational networks, it's important that the content is interactive, that it's fun, and that it's challenging and relates to the real world. And by doing this, it means that young people can connect with that information and therefore retain it. By delivering that content in formats such as film, podcasts, and by using gaming tools with challenges and competitions, it also means that young people can enhance their creativity and therefore they can achieve success. Debating is also a popular tool in online networking, and young people find this particularly useful because they're able to express their opinions without feeling judged and however outrageous their ideas might be. It means that they can feel like a valued member of a community in which they can express their ideas and in which they can tackle subjects which may not be in the school curriculum. So again, this nurtures confidence and ownership. I'm going to pass you to Meredith and Gabriel now because as users of social networks, they're the best placed people to tell you about their experiences.
Hello, I'm Meredith Whiting. I'm 14 and I'm a Year 10 at Warwickshire Grammar School, which is how I joined IGGY. A group of students were offered a place on IGGY in late October. To me, IGGY is both a place to learn and to socialise, and this has given me a good taste for how IGGY and the internet can aid learning. Many experiences and opportunities are, and have been, offered through IGGY, from socialising and communicating with other people online, to debating and entering competitions. I'm going to talk about how IGGY has affected my learning experience, and how I've improved and learnt more through IGGY than what I've done just in school, consolidating my knowledge and also improving it by looking into topics in more detail. For instance, debating is something I enjoy doing, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to participate in many around the site. It's a place people can share their ideas and receive comments, as well as arguing their points of view, which I've found to be beneficial to my English skills when I debate. Over the course of the past few months, a wide range of topics have come up on debates, covering unfamiliar things to do with the American politics to more familiar things to do with life sciences, physics, and biofuels. I, personally, post on a variety of topics. For instance, I am participating in a debate and discussion on biofuels, which is the topic of my CREST project in school. CREST is a project-based award system for the STEM subjects, which links the personal passions of students to curriculum-based learning. As an IGGY member, I can gain knowledge provided by academics to back up what I've learned in school, and also debate the subject with other like-minded people. This allows me to access to factual data and an opinion through debating with others. On the site, I have debated with mentors and members alike, and many good ideas and sources have cropped up during it. I believe this has aided the work my group is studying, as it's provided us with valuable knowledge. The challenges and tasks also presented on IGGY are a highlight of the site too. How they are presented varies with the subject, but they definitely had a valuable impact on my experiences. I found the creative writing tasks are really well done too, such as the work on syllables in poetry, where we had to, for the first part, write a 7-line poem with 7 syllables a line. We haven't done this properly in school, just touched on it, so it was a nice change from what we normally did. The video content and articles on IGGY for any subject are really well presented, interesting, and have good quality too. Not to mention the topic is explained concisely, but with enough information that you understand everything. The content produced in these is really good, and it makes IGGY a unique place, giving people a confidence boost on the capacity for learning. The competitions are a great thing too. How you enter is varied, be it with a picture, poem, painting, or film. I, personally, find it an innovative, inspiring, and engaging way to encourage someone to think outside the box. The competitions are always proved to be exciting, seeing the large variety of entries. The Celebrate with IGGY competition, although there were only a few entries, gave a valuable insight as to how other people celebrated over the winter, through a diverse collection of works. Of course, the size of the competitions also varies, and one of the largest is the Junior Commissioner. The Junior Commissioners are a group of 10 IGGY members that work collaboratively on a different project each year. This year, it covers the future of education and technology's role in learning. I think this is a very relevant topic for our age group, especially, because it could affect how we, in the future, learn. It tackles the idea of what technology could hold for education in the future, and how it's also offered and affected education in the past decade, or even just in the last 2 years. IGGY is also a part of this by creating a social networking site that is also educational, which other sites have not yet achieved. I found one of the most important aspects IGGY encourages people to do is to communicate with others, as it also invites people to be part of a community. I've talked to many people all over the site and all over the world, from those who share the same musical interests to those who enjoy writing, such as talking about the NaNoWriMo novel that we attempted during November, where we all joined together to work on and try to finish a 50,000-word novel in a month. NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month, which takes place annually in November. It provoked many conversations too, letting people talk to one another on a mutual topic. I really like the idea of IGGY as a social networking site, but it's a unique twist on online learning. So, as you can see, IGGY has and does have a positive effect on learning, and I think it's one of a kind due to the unique community and content it's created. Thank you for listening to me today, and I'll pass you over to Gabriel.
Hi, I'm Gabriel D'Souza. I'm 15 years old. I went to state school until I was 11, when I became home educated. I joined IGGY 5 months ago, and I'd like to talk about the importance of IGGY as a learning community. I think a community is founded on the principle that people can help each other in ways they can't always help themselves. And the same is true of learning communities. When people collaborate and learn together, they can have a richer and more rewarding experience than they could, learning on their own. When I'm talking about a learning community, I don't necessarily mean something formal, like a classroom or a study group. I think a learning community can equally be a group of people talking outside that classroom, or the comment section of a series of videos about, for example, American politics. What's important is that someone looks at something and says to another, "Here's what I thought about that." And then that second person replies, "Here's what I thought." And then a third joins in and says how it reminds them of something from philosophy. It's things like this, new points of view, different ways of thinking, that make communities like these so important. When you see someone else's enthusiasm for something, it can show you a way to appreciate a thing you never thought was anything but interminable. It can also bring back the enthusiasm you used to have. I think sometimes you need reminders to care even about things you really love. Home education has been a great choice for me, because it's built around me, taking into account my individual strengths and weaknesses. And I'm not learning from someone who has to juggle the needs of 30 people. It's a much better, more intense learning experience than I ever had at school. But because I've been home educated, for the last 3 years I haven't had a lot of chances to learn in a community, and I'm really happy to now have that chance with IGGY. In the last 5 months, I've talked online on IGGY's debate section about the relationship between beauty and culture, about the viability of nuclear power, and about what I think might happen after death. We often think of communities on the internet as inferior to those in real life, but I don't think that's true. There are a lot of disadvantages to virtual communities, as opposed to real-life ones, but there are also advantages. Virtual communities can lack the immediacy or the freedom of physical ones, and it can be more difficult to connect with other people when you don't have the benefit of tone or expression. But they can also let more introverted or less confident members converse more easily, and connect people internationally on a level that would be impossible for a physical community. I don't think we can say either is cut and dry superior, but both are important in their own right. IGGY as an online entity lets me talk and collaborate over days or weeks with people from England to America to England to Australia. I'm very happy that IGGY has given me the opportunity to be part of a new and extremely valuable learning community, and I hope it and many new communities like it continue to grow and be created. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully, Meredith and Gabriel have given you a valid insight into the importance of online learning and have demonstrated that their experiences have been positive. Providing young people with the opportunity to take ownership of their education online is a step in the right direction for the future of technology and learning. And for those not yet embracing it, I would encourage that they consider that the future of education is not just a classroom within the four walls of a school, but that it has the potential to move beyond that at the same speed at which technology is advancing. On behalf of Gabriel, Meredith and myself, thank you very much for listening.